afternoon, everybody. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, I've been practicing medicine in the trenches of medicine here for 23 years, licensed for 20 years. Practiced all over the country. Practiced in Washington State, practiced in Massachusetts, practiced in Colorado. I've been all around the block, and in 20 years of being a licensed naturopathic physician, I've had to recommend my patients take prescription medicines less than 5 times. Less than 5 times in 2 decades. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine an MD going even a day without prescribing a drug? No, of course not, because that's what they do. That's what they're trained in. That's what they know. And like the fella said, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And this is the root of the problem here in the United States and anywhere in the world. And I don't care if it's medicine. I don't care if it's finances. I don't care if it's politics. When somebody or some organization monopolizes an industry, it's trouble. And the medical industry in the United States has been monopolized since 1920. Before the 1920s, there was a relatively level playing field of medicine in the United States, and nobody had the upper hand. Then, you know, you had the chiropractors, you had the naturopaths, you had the osteopaths, you had the homeopaths, you had the herbalists, and you had the MDs. And, you know, everybody was vying for turf and for patients, and it was, nobody really was out in front. Until the Flexner Report, the infamous Flexner Report in the 1920s, where the Carnegies gave millions of dollars of free money to the hospitals and medical schools in the country that prescribe drugs, right? So if you're starting a business and I'm starting a business and you get $1 million of free money and I don't, guess who's going to have this better business? Well, you are. That's exactly why the MD medical profession has risen to prominence. That's because of drug money and political coalitions that were built, and certainly financial coalitions. The Carnegies, of course, and the Rockefellers owned pharmaceutical companies, so it was in their best interest to support and promote that industry. Well, it was good for everybody, except, of course, the patients. Then, you know, legislators were glad-handed to pass restrictive laws making it illegal to practice medicine unless you prescribe drugs. So the chiropractors fell back, the naturopaths fell back, the osteopaths fell back, the herbalists fell back. The homeopaths were virtually wiped out. Every other profession except the homeopaths have come back. Now, homeopathy is still practiced in this country today, and there are still licensed physicians who are trained in the clinical application of homeopathy. But the homeopathic profession ceased to exist, I think, after the 1950s. The homeopathic profession as a separate and distinct profession vaporized. The only place you can get an education in homeopathy now in a medical school is at the naturopathic medical schools. There are no longer any pure homeopathic medical schools and no pure homeopathic hospitals like there were in the 1900s and the late 1800s. They don't exist because of the profit margin generated by drug sales and laws making it illegal to practice medicine unless you were an MD, are an MD. And this is the problem, because most people in the United States have forgotten all of this. They don't remember any of this stuff, for goodness sake, and it's not taught in school. Most people incorrectly assume that the MDs are the prominent physicians of our day because their therapeutics must be better, their methods must be safer or more effective, their medicines must be better, right? Their techniques must be better. Their stuff must be better than their competitors' stuff, otherwise they wouldn't be in first place. Well, no. The reason that they're in first place is because of political and financial coalitions that were built over a century ago that everybody's forgotten about. Modern American medicine is a for-profit juggernaut which is 100% out of control, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody is talking about it. And everybody's crying about Obamacare. And, you know, everybody needs more access to modern American medicine. Well, guess what? You don't. You need less access to modern American medicine. Modern American medicine is the leading cause of death in the United States. And it's the reason why we're sick. Because you cannot fix a chronic illness with a drug. You can manage it. MDs don't practice health care. They practice disease management. If you want disease management based on pharmaceutical medicine and surgery, go right ahead. Have your knees cut out. Have your shoulders replaced. Take Vioxx and hydrochlorothiazide and Valium and go for it. Now, that stuff is readily available. All you have to do is see the guy in the white coat. But if you know that there's got to be a better way, if something just doesn't sit right with you, if you know that, there's got to something going on here, something's rotten in the state of Denmark, well, you're exactly right. But the problem is there are only a handful of licensed, experienced, holistic physicians who are trained in the science-based clinical application of anything other than drugs and surgery. And, there's less than 4,000 of us in this country right now. And of those 4,000, there's only a handful that have more than 20 years of clinical experience. It's a sad state of affairs. This is one of the reasons why my colleague, Dr. Wallach, and I have radio shows. It's why we give collectively hundreds of free lectures and webinars a year all over this country. Because we are generating a grassroots coalition of the informed. We are helping people to stand up, take their health back in ways that actually produce results. So if you have a health concern and you're tired of taking drugs and you know that jig is up and you ain't going there no more, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to search the internet and try to figure it out yourself? Well, that's an option. Are you going to go to the health food store and talk to the clerk behind the counter who's read a book on vitamin C? Well, that's an option. Or are you going to listen to me? That's a better option. Because I have 23 years of clinical experience. I have been in the front lines of holistic medicine in this country for over 2 decades. And I am extremely well versed in anatomy and physiology, pathophysiology of disease. I can run circles around any MD as far as pathophysiology and effective treatment of disease. You would be smart to pay attention to the advice that's doled out on this radio station for free. That's right, there's no insurance co-pays, there's no consultation charges. The information I give here on this radio station is free. You call me, you have a condition, I tell you what I would do if I were you. I give you advice about science-based, clinically verified things you can do right now to help your body recover its health. The number to call, toll-free from anywhere in the U.S., 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. So give us a call. We'll have a chat. And by me talking to you about what's going on for you, we can help thousands of people who are listening who are afflicted with the same thing, but they're too shy to call because that's human nature, right? Now, yesterday I promised I was going to talk about osteoporosis, and I got off on a tangent as I am wont to do. And, I was going to sleep last night, and I thought to myself, oh, holy smokes, you forgot to talk about osteoporosis. Well, so I'm going to talk about it right now. And then in the next segment, or the third segment, depending on how many calls we get, we're going to dial in the cholesterol thing because the cholesterol information will blow your mind. So, osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is the gradual thinning of bone so that your bones become brittle. Your bones look like a honeycomb that's lost a lot of the honey, and now there's holes in the bone, and so the bone loses its structural integrity and breaks very easily. That's osteoporosis. The beginning of osteoporosis is called osteopenia. That's when the bone is starting to lose its structural integrity, but it hasn't gotten really bad yet. Now, osteoporosis and osteopenia are diagnosed by something called a DEXA scan, which is a dual X-ray that they use, and they calculate the difference that the two X-ray beams are going into the bones from, and they're able to calculate how dense the bone is. It's a pretty good test, actually, and the amount of radiation that you get from a DEXA scan is negligible, although it still is radiation. A much better thing to do than a DEXA scan, however, is something called a FRAX test. So you can just go online, do a Google search for FRAX, F-R-A-X, There's a website put up by the National Institute of Health, I believe, it's all about fracks, and you answer 17 or 18 questions about your health and your age and your weight and your gender, et cetera, et cetera. And they're able to calculate through a statistical logarithm your chance, your possibility of having a bone fracture, right? And we want to prevent osteoporosis here. We want to be aggressive in our prevention of osteoporosis, because the problem with osteoporosis is not the osteoporosis per se, although in a certain percentage of patients and people, osteoporosis can be very painful. But the biggest problem with osteoporosis is you slip on a banana peel, fall down onto the floor, and your bones are so brittle that you crack your hip in two. Then you have to go to the hospital for surgery. And most people who have hip replacement surgery, their life is never the same. A lot of people die from it, and post-surgery, they're on pain medication, they're immobile, they can't walk around. Life is a nightmare after that type of surgery, because most of the people who have that surgery are elderly, and their bodies are so worn out that the stress of the surgery, it's the final blow, so to speak. So we want to be aggressive in helping to support and promote healthy bones, because believe me, you do not want to break your hip. Whether you're 40, 50, 60, 70, or 80, you want to avoid that at all costs. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to tell you how I support and promote healthy bones and how the MDs support and promote healthy bones. And then you can decide which one you want to do. I am Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. This is Fire Your MD Now. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now, where we roll back the curtain on modern American medicine, informing you about what the MDs do and what the NDs do, what the holistic doctors do, so you can decide what road you want to walk down. Because listen, most of us wrongly assume that your local MD working at that shiningly new, beautiful hospital on the hill, which, by the way, was built on the back of your suffering, most of us wrongly assume that the people working there know what's best for you when it comes to medicine, but they do not. They only know what they were trained in, and what they were trained in is pharmaceutical medicine delivered through a reductionistic medical philosophy, which is really good for trauma and a few nasty infections, but it's really bad for everything else. This is why we have this radio show to, increase people's knowledge base, because what do they say? Knowledge is power. Now, before I get into my diatribe on osteoporosis, which I promise I'll do today, we have Vince from California. He has a question about longevity products for his mom. Hello, Vince. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Peter. Thanks for taking my call. I love your show. I'm glad you're on the air. I first heard about you through Jan Irvin's podcast.
Oh, very good.
Huge fan of Jan, and I want to throw out a plug there for TragedyandHope.com. He's a member of that group.
Yeah,
and
very good.
They just did a John Taylor Gatto interview that slides right in alongside what you talk about, but on a bigger scale, all those people in those big shiny buildings exposing what they're doing and whatnot.
So what's on your mind? Thanks for the call.
Yeah, my mom, I'll give you a little background on her. She's in her late 60s, and she went through a lot of the typical MD treatment that women in their 50s get with hormone replacement therapy and whatnot. She's had a history of hypertension and high blood pressure as well. And then in 2001, she had a bleed-type stroke. And in trying to get her, and she's always been fairly healthy and ate pretty well, not the usual standard American diet, but something pretty decent diet. And so lately I've been plugging her with the longevity products, and I got her to buy I think it's the 91 essential minerals. The issues she's having is with this product and with other similar products she's tried is that they really upset her stomach.
Excellent.
And I wonder, yeah.
Okay,
So
good, very good. How much does she weigh? Do you know? Ballpark?
I think she fluctuates in 120 something to 150 something, and she's about 5'7".
All right, Vince. Okay, so very, very good. I really appreciate the call, and we're all in this together, right? So Jan's show, Jan's podcast, this show, Dr. Wallach's show, all the webinars that we do, it's like one big happy family with these interconnected groups all across the world now. Now it's all across the world thanks to the Internet, lifting people up into knowledge and power and strength. And, the reason that Dr. Wallach set this company up is to end human suffering. That's why he did it. And by the way, listeners, Dr. Wallach doesn't make any money from the sales of vitamins in the longevity company, zero. He removed himself from that revenue stream completely in order to, stop the snake in the grass critics that say, oh, that Dr. Wallach, he's just trying to make money selling vitamins. Well, guess what? He makes zero. Now, a couple of things about the language here, Vince, because we have to be careful because we're hoping to educate people appropriately, right? If your mother was healthy, if your mother was eating a healthy diet, she wouldn't have had hypertension, she wouldn't have had a stroke, because those things only happen in an unhealthy system. So the food that we're eating is impossible to provide us with all of the nutrients that the human body needs. It can't do it. So I don't care how good a diet people think that they're eating, it's not enough. And quite frankly, people think whole grains are healthy, and they're not. People think olive oil is healthy, and it's not. I'm going to do a whole week on good food, bad food one of these days. But it's a real eye-opener. I have a lot of that information on my website, by the way, that's free. You can just go check it out right now. Now, hypertension and stroke. Well, stroke, we were able to sue the FDA. Dr. Wallach sued the FDA to secure something called the qualified health claim, so that we can say that most of the time stroke is caused by not enough essential fatty acids. So if your mother had any type of a stroke, the best guess there is that she didn't have enough EFAs, essential fatty acids. Now, that's part of the 91 essential nutrients, part of the Healthy Start Pack that she was on. So as long as she's taking the essential fatty acids, that's a good thing. And for someone who's 150 pounds who had a history of a stroke, my recommendation for the EFAs is 6 a day. 2 with breakfast, 2 with lunch, 2 with dinner. 9 is better. And when we come back on the other side of the break, I'm going to tell you why the Beyond Tangy Tangerine's given her an upset stomach and what to do about it. And then osteoporosis. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fire Your MD Now. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and you can check out lots of information at fireyourmdnow.com. You can even purchase the Beyond Tangy Tangerine that Alex Jones has been talking about, and all of the longevity products that I talk about on this show at this website at the wholesale price, fireyourmdnow.com. Now, we're talking with Vince from California. He had a question about his mother, who was getting an upset stomach from the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, which is one of our most effective nutritional supplements. So here's the deal with that. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine is an extremely concentrated nutritional supplement. It has vitamins, it has minerals, it has amino acids, it has 117 fruits and vegetables, lots of antioxidants in one compact microcrystalline patented powder that took, I believe, 5 years of research and development to figure out how to pack all that stuff into a powder that didn't separate when it was sitting on the shelf and which dissolved easily in water. They did it. It's a great supplement, and it's extremely concentrated. So if somebody is taking the Beyond Tangy Tangerine in too concentrated a dose, like they're taking 1 scoop in 4 ounces of water instead of 1 scoop in 16 ounces of water, which I recommend, or they're putting 1 scoop, in 8 ounces of water and they're shooting it down, chugging it down, instead of taking 30 to 45 minutes to drink it down, like I recommend, they're going to have some type of stomach issue around it. So the majority of the time when people take the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and have trouble from it, like they'll get constipation, gas, diarrhea, or an upset stomach, it's simply a matter of dilution. Now, on the front page of fireyourmdnow.com, there's a little picture of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine with a free download. Just click on that link, and it tells you exactly how to dilute that stuff appropriate for your body weight. You know, so if you're taking 1 scoop, if you're 100 pounds, here's how much you need to dilute it, and here's how you should take it. If you're 150 pounds, here's how you should dilute it, and here's how you should take it, and so forth and so on. You can download it, print it up. It's free. Right? We have lots of stuff away here, folks, because that's just what we do. So most of the time, it's a simple dilution problem. The stuff hasn't been diluted enough, and or the person who's taking it is drinking it down way too quickly. My recommendation is 1 scoop of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine in 16 ounces of water. 1 scoop in 16 ounces of water, and take a minimum of 30 minutes to drink it down. 45 is better. Now, if you're doing that and still getting an upset stomach, then take the Beyond Tangy Tangerine in the middle of a meal. Eat half of your food first, and then start drinking the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Take 30 to 45 minutes to do it. If you drink the stuff in the proper dilution with food in your stomach, oftentimes that's enough to quell any, disturbance that's going on. Now, if you do that and there's still a problem, then it's caused by one of the 114 fruits and vegetables that are in that product. So if you dilute it, if you're taking it with food, drinking it slowly, and there's still a problem, then you're having an allergic reaction to one or more of the fruits and vegetables that are in that. There's 114. So if that happens, you have to stop taking that product and switch it out. And the next best product is something called Tropical Plus. We also have another product called Ultimate Daily. It's called Anti-Aging Daily Packs. Anti-Aging Daily Premium Packs. It's a brand new product. So try the Tropical Plus or the Anti-Aging Daily Premium Packs instead of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and you'll work it out. Because you can't take an essential nutrient and have a negative reaction to it. That's impossible. You can't have a negative reaction to water or to air, right? Those are essential for health. You cannot have a negative reaction to an essential nutrient. If you're having a reaction to the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, it's to one of the fruits or vegetables that are in it, or you're just taking it in too concentrated a dose. Okay? Okay. Now, we're going to go right into osteoporosis, because I made this promise. And it looks like we're going to have to do the cholesterol thing tomorrow. Oh, I should have kept my day job, folks. So here's the deal, osteoporosis. Osteoporosis, as I talked about earlier, is the gradual thinning of bone. And the MD rationale to fix this, you're not going to believe this, is to march in and deliver a synthetic drug which puts part of your body's metabolism to sleep. And let me explain why. Your bones and all the tissues in your body all of the time are regenerating themselves, right? That's how muscle builders build muscle, because the body can fix itself and regenerate tissue. So you rip a muscle fiber down by lifting weights or doing push-ups, and then the body repairs that, builds it stronger the next day. That's how your biceps get big, right? Well, your body is chewing up old bone and laying down new bone all of the time, regenerating bone tissue all of the time. And it does this with 2 types of cells. One type of cell is called an osteoblast. That's the type of cell that lays down new bone. And an osteoclast is the type of cell that chews up old bone. So osteoclasts are chewing up old bone, and osteoblasts are laying down new bone. Don't ask me who named them that. It was some knucklehead, because those names make no sense to me, but that's another story. So we've got your body chewing up old bone and laying down new bone all the time. Now, if it were you or me, and I saw somebody with a bone density problem and their bone wasn't strong enough, I would support and promote the part of the body that made new bone, that laid down new bone, right? Isn't that what you would do? Just provide the body with the nutrition that the bones need to make themselves healthy, because there's a process going on all of the time where the bones make themselves stronger. Let's just support that. Oh, no. We can't do that. We have MD after our name. We don't do that. What do we do? Well, we're going to make a synthetic drug. It's a classification of drugs called bisphosphonates. You know, Boniva and Fosamax, right? These are the most famous ones. How the bisphosphonates work is by putting to sleep the osteoclasts, the cells that are chewing up the old bone. It puts them to sleep, slows them down, makes them stop working. So when you take a bisphosphonate, Fosamax or Boniva, the cells that chew up old bone stop chewing up old bone. What happens? Old bone accumulates in your bone. Is this good or bad? This is bad. Why? Because your body was trying to get rid of it in the first place. Your body had wisdom. Your body, there was a purpose for your body getting rid of the old bone, but your MD thinks they're smarter than nature, smarter than your body, smarter than God. So rather than support and promote healthy bone production of new bone, it completely interrupts the process through which your body chews up the old bone, thinking that they know better than your body does. They know better than nature. It's insanity. So what happens? Old bone accumulates in your bone. Now this makes your bone density test look better, right? Because, oh, my bones are stronger. Well, no, they're not. They're more dense. But now your bones are filled with old bone. It's old bone. Yeah, old bone is brittle. This is why when people are on Fosamax or Boniva for more than 4 or 5 years, their bones are brittle like dry tinder. And, you know, so a 65-year-old woman who's been on Fosamax for 5 years thinks her bone density is fantastic. She steps off of the curb the wrong way and her leg snaps in two because it's like dry tinder. It's like a matchstick. Snap! And this is the latest round of lawsuits against the manufacturers of bisphosphonates, is cataclysmic bone fractures. It's happening all over the place. Do a Google search. This, by the way, is why Sally Field isn't on TV pitching the bisphosphonates anymore. I can't remember if it was Boniva or Fosamax that she was pitching, but she's not doing it anymore. Why? Because their time has come. You know, they can only sell this stuff effectively, keep you in the dark for 5 years until the side effects pile up and it starts causing trouble, which is exactly what's happened now. But you give them a pass. You go back to your MD and say, oh, well, you know, that stuff didn't work. What am I going to try next, doc? Why don't you just bring a guinea pig with you every time you go to the doctor? That would be a better thing. Just bring a guinea pig. I think I'm going to mail a guinea pig to everybody in the United States that sees MDs. It's going to say, fire your MD. I'm going to paint, fire your MD on the guinea pig, and I'm going to send one to everybody in the United States. You can bring the guinea pig to your MD and have them try the drugs out on them before you do it to yourself. Because you are, in fact, just a guinea pig, just an ATM to your doctor. Just an ATM. For goodness sake. But don't get me started. So, the bisphosphonates make old bone accumulate in your bone, which makes your bones more brittle, because what was your body trying to do in the first place? It was trying to get rid of the old bone. Hallelujah, and pass the hat. So what do? Well, we're smart, right? Naturopathic physicians are smart. We are wise. We observe nature. We respect nature. We respect the inherent workings of the human body and understand that the human body knows what's best. Most of the time, it knows what's best. So if I have somebody with osteoporosis or osteopenia or a joint problem like arthritis, and it's really just a different arm of the same octopus, right? Instead of the bone losing its structural integrity, now it's the joint that's lost its structural integrity. Well, what are we going to do? We're going to do the same thing. We are going to support and promote the process through which the body lays down new bone. It's already doing it. Your body's already doing it. It just needs the stuff it needs to do it. Again, it's an easy metaphor to understand. If you wanted to build a new house, and you've got the permits, you've got the blueprints, you've got the carpenters, you've got the lumber, you've got the nail guns, it's a beautiful sunny day. If you don't have any nails, ain't nothing getting built on that day. Even though you've got everything else you need the nails. Well, guess what? Your bones need the 91 essential nutrients. That's what they need. And they need sulfur-bearing molecules, glucosamine sulfate. Everybody's heard about glucosamine sulfate and chondroitin sulfate and hyaluronic acid. Well, you know who was the doctor who first started the buzz around glucosamine sulfate 20 years ago? Dr. Wallach. Dr. Wallach was the person that first started talking about glucosamine sulfate over 2 decades ago, and now it's a common household term. So what do? Are we just going to give glucosamine sulfate? No. Are we just going to give chondroitin sulfate? No. Are we just going to give hyaluronic acid and calcium? No. Because those are some of the things that the body needs, but because we're holistic and because we understand that the body is a complex system of interrelated parts, we're going to give the body everything that it needs, plus extra bone stuff. So what is that? Well, it's the Healthy Start Pack. 1 Healthy Start Pack for 100 pounds of body weight per month, 1 extra bottle of OsteoFX Plus, which is our liquid calcium, and the Gluco Gel, which is our glucosamine sulfate, chondroitin sulfate, hyaluronic acid, and we dose that at 1 capsule per 10 pounds of body weight per day. Take your supplements, bring the nails to the construction site, your body's going to fix the bones, the house is going to get built. You can fire your MD and flush the bisphosphonates down the toilet. Because God is my witness. Wake up, snap out of it, get your health back. Ladies and gentlemen, do not even think about touching that dial. We'll be back just before you know it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fire Your MD Now, and I'm your friendly neighborhood naturopathic physician, Dr. Peter Glidden. Check me out at fireyourmdnow.com, fireyourmdnow.com. You know, I just don't know where all the time goes. I think there's a room somewhere where all of the time is stored up because it's gone in a flash. This really needs to be a 2-hour show. If this were a 2-hour show, I could change the way that medicine's practiced in this country. If it was a 3-hour show, I could change the way that medicine's practiced in the world. No kidding. I have so much information. There is so much to talk about here. Just normal stuff, like cholesterol, like osteoporosis and the bisphosphonates. You didn't know that. Did you know that? If you knew how the bisphosphonates work, would you take them? No, you wouldn't have taken them. You're no dummy. You put your trust in the wrong person. You just trusted that your MD knew what's best. Your MD doesn't know. The only reason your MD gives you that crap is because the pharmaceutical reps spend $50,000 per doctor per year in PR and free drug stuff. $50,000 a year per doctor in free stuff. Samples, drug samples, and all this PR about the wonders of bisphosphonates. And then when all the lawsuits start rolling in, they disappear. They scurry away like roaches from the light. God is my witness. It is crazy what's going on here, man. It is just crazy. And if you knew what I know about how medicine is practiced in the United States, you would run away from your MD unless you're bleeding to death. No kidding. Man. So, what are we going to do? Talk about cholesterol in 3 minutes? Can't do it. We're going to have to talk about cholesterol tomorrow. I apologize. It got away from me yesterday. What can I say? We had a little technical glitch at the beginning of the show yesterday, and things got away from me, and so here we are. So I'm going to talk about cholesterol in the first segment tomorrow, and it's going to blow your mind. I'm also going to put up a little post on fireyourmdnow.com about cholesterol, do a little blog about it. I have a blog that you can check out. You can get a link to that right on fireyourmdnow.com. But I'm going to give you a couple of teasers right now to make you tune in. And if there's anybody in your family that's taking a statin drug, a cholesterol-lowering drug like Lipitor or Simvastatin, have them listen to tomorrow's program. Go and get them. Tie them to a chair. Duct tape them to a chair. Coerce them, convince them, lie to them, I don't care. Get them to listen to tomorrow's show on cholesterol, because the information that I'm going to tell you will save lives. and it will blow your mind, and it will make your head spin around and pop right off your shoulders. I'm going to give you a couple teasers now. There are no illnesses that are caused by high cholesterol. There are no illnesses that are caused by high cholesterol. Got it? There are illnesses which cause your cholesterol to elevate. There are illnesses which cause high cholesterol, but high cholesterol in and of itself is meaningless. It's meaningless. Half as many people, half of the people who die from heart attacks have low cholesterol. Half the people who die from heart attacks have low cholesterol. And there are no illnesses that are caused by high cholesterol. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to leave that dangling right there. Tune in tomorrow, 4 o'clock Central Time. You're going to love it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all in this boat together. We are all, whether we want to be or not, we are. We're all sailing down this stream. And myself and my colleagues have information that you didn't know, you didn't even know that. And this information can save lives literally. I am choosing my words carefully. If you had seen what I had seen people recover from with holistic medicine, you wouldn't believe it, number one. And when you did believe it, there'd be a line outside my office, 3 states long. I'd have a waiting list, 6 years long, people trying to get in to see me for my advice. Well, that's why we do the radio station, because guess what? You don't need a doctor's appointment. You don't need a visit. You don't need to pay for a consultation fee. You just need to tune in, educate yourself, and take a chance with medical nutrition, because it will save your life. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. This is Fire Your MD Now. I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. See you then.